put that part, your ego, just put it in a box outside of your body. Just set it aside just for now and begin to just connect with light flowing up and down through your body and just see what floats in your mind. If your mind starts to wander as it does, just bring yourself back. Just seeing what floats in as if you're just, I wonder what would happen if I just explored this. I wonder what would happen if I just opened up and followed this trail. It's interesting what floats in sometimes.
Just a rest.
A rest.
A rest.
Yeah.
Peaceful and angelic.
Angelic?
Nice. Yeah, just like a rest.
Watch
Beautiful. So colors, a lot of people see colors, and just noting that's a form of clairvoyance. We all have these intuitive senses. I'll talk about that in a minute. But that color is, some people see things, or some people just feel this expansion. Sometimes there's words that float in, and so this is our intuition. We're talking to higher guidance. That's really just what we did right there. Asking is really, really important because we often forget that we can ask. There's this divine management for about 15 years, and I lived abroad, lived in Senegal, which was a huge eye-opening experience, lived in Mexico, I love to travel. But then I met my husband, who I manifested, wrote it down, wrote a vision of it, what I wanted. It took me about a year, and then he showed up. But after I had my 2 children, my second child, my daughter, who loves it here and comes and exercises all the time, or we used to, we'll come back. After I had her, I came home after work, and this was not just one day, but I would, cry regularly. I would grind my teeth at night because I was so stressed. And our babysitter, she's like, why don't you hire a life coach? Because I didn't know what to do. I was like, I can't do this anymore. I can't function like this. I don't have energy for my children. So I was like, what's a life coach? I've never even heard of that. She said, my daughter hired one, and she quit her job the next day. So I was like, that sounds awesome. I want to do that. So I did. So I hired this woman right here in Portland, and then she said, do 2 things, and this stands out to me. Start meditating again, and start talking to something higher than yourself. So I did those 2 things. I did everything she told me to do. I was paying her for it, so I did everything she told me to do. And so when I started doing those 2 things, that's when my whole life started changing. So I won't go super out there, but there is an awakening. There's something happening on Earth right now. I'm going to go a little bit out there. Shift in consciousness. That's why you're here. 2012, new Mayan calendar, age of Aquarius versus the age of Pisces, which is the old age of separation, fighting, us versus them, Republicans, Democrats, pro-choice, pro-life, all these, factions, right, fighting, and that's the old way. We have to get out of that, and we're feeling that. Why are we doing that to ourselves? Why are we, conquering people? So we're in this huge, it's an amazing time to be alive. It is an incredible time to be alive. It's challenging, but we are here to share light. That's why I do this, because I'm here to share light, to try to, when I say that, that means we're all being activated, this spiritual side of us. Well, I'm just interested in Reiki, or why do I hear this from people? Like, I'm just kind of curious about this. I never was interested in this before, but all of a sudden I just feel that's because there's energy shifting on the planet. There's literally, the energy's changed. So it's an amazing time. That's what's happening. However, because we're humans, we have all this conditioning to work through. Like I like to, programming is another word, it's a little scary word, but conditioning through the media, through all the stuff that we get bombarded with, information overload, and backing up a little bit there's the ego self and the higher self. So we think still a little bit of a dichotomy, but in a good way. The ego self is what most of us have been trained to operate in. The logical, rational, left brain, the school systems all work like that, most workplaces, and we see what's in front of us with our eyes, and that's what's real. Versus the higher self, which is really feelings-based, creativity, the right brain, intuition, that's not real. That's what we've been taught, most of us. So it's this unbelievable process that I've gone through in my own life and that I work through with clients in Soulful Work Intuitive Consulting, my business, and to help retrain ourselves to really be guided by this side, our higher selves, through our creativity and through really it's our feelings. So what do you feel like? And then that guides the rest of the ship. It's not easy to do, believe me, I try to do it, but it takes a lot of work. So anyway, but that's kind of that gives you a little bit of foundation of how to activate your intuition, because with all of, my job here today to talk to you is about intuition. Mindfulness, meditation is the #1 way to activate your intuition, because you're opening yourself to receiving, just like that silence. So if you start meditating, you're going to find that you're going to start becoming more intuitive and getting messages and receiving guidance. And I do Akashic Records. Anybody heard of the Akashic Records? Yeah. So I do Akashic Records readings, and it's basically, how do I describe? It's a dimension of your soul and all your past lives and why you're here, your purpose, what lessons you're here to learn, why you've incarnated with certain people. So I do these readings for other people and for myself, but for my business, I go to my Akashic Records and I get information from the masters, teachers, and loved ones. And the masters are light beings, and so I ask them, how can I, what's the best price to set? And they'll tell me, how can I work through this thing? And it's kind of like I'm working with my higher self as well, myself on a soul level that doesn't have all that, oh, well, nobody's gonna blah-blah-blah, and you should blah-blah-blah, the fears, the doubts, and the worries of the ego. So the reason I tell you that, not because you're all gonna start going to the Akashic Records, although a lot of you will, probably, some of you, but because it's that intuitive side that really can guide us better than anything else. So when you start activating your intuition, you have like the best coach and therapist in the world built right up here within you. So that's your own intuition. So the key though is that we often don't trust that. We feel something and we feel, oh, I feel like, this might be right. And then the ego comes in right away. It's like, no, you don't have money for that. Or you don't really like that person. You shouldn't do this, blah, 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 right? So it's this process of training ourselves to just recognize that ego versus that beautiful nudge, which is the higher self is quiet. It's a whisper. The ego is loud. So there's different things you can do to kind of train yourself. But does that make sense? Did I say that? Okay, because I like to do writing tools, and I have all these writing tools. Of course, I don't have them here for you, but if you want handouts like this, I can get your email and I can email them to you, because I have a lot of things about intuitive guidance. So I'm going to talk a little bit at first about the types of intuitive abilities and the types of higher guidance that you might want to connect with, and then we'll do an actual meditation to meet a guardian angel. How's that sound? Hopefully cool? Yeah. Okay. So I'll try to make this quick. Literally the number of activation. Some people call angel numbers, and that means that you're awakening. You're seeing a new reality, a version of reality, which is not the version that many of us have been taught. And if you're not, don't worry, you will. You will. And once it starts with 1-on-1, then it goes 2-2-2, 3-3-3, 1-2-3-4, all kinds. All day long I see them, all day. And so it's such a comfort for me because I know that, right? So just trusting that. So then there's clairaudience, hearing. I used to do this a lot. I would just be in the car and all of a sudden on energy from other people and you get drained a lot. It's really important to clear. Remembering that even those words, we've all talked about this, that those words are also blocking your intuition. So any of the thoughts, like, I can't do this, I'm not intuitive, it's not working, flip those thoughts around. I'm learning to open my intuition. I'm opening to seeing. One is a great mantra to say because a lot of us have been witches in past lives. Guess what they used to do to witches? very bad things. I personally I've done some past life regressions. I've seen about 7 or 8 different past lives of my own. One of them was pretty awful. I was buried alive. I think burned too. Anyway, but that was like literally in my bones. And when I'm protected and I'm working with sources of highest love, and angels are connected directly to the divine source energy, God. So I started talking to Archangel Michael. And I just asked, Archangel Michael, can you please help me release my fears? Archangel Michael, I ask for your assistance in helping me to feel safe. And then I imagine a bubble of light, and this is what you can do, a bubble of light around you. Anytime, it's a translucent bubble. So love and only love may enter here. It's another great mantra. And so you can let the good things in, but the bad things stay out. So you can imagine like rotten tomatoes getting thrown at your aura, and they don't affect you. So I've working, so all right, let me talk about angels now. So there's different sources of higher guidance. There's angels, spirit guides, God, of course, which is the source of everything. And are you guys okay if I use the word God? Divine source energy, let's use divine source energy. Divine source energy, God, whatever you want to call it. The I am presence, consciousness, love, it's all the same thing. And all of these things are connected to that source. But what's nice about some of them is that they're a little more, it's like you can't always go talk to the CEO of the company. You've got to go to, the manager or the vice president. You don't always get to talk directly to the CEO, although you can, but they're harder to get to, right? So, and it's also like looking directly at the sun. If you were to stare at the sun for too long, not good for you, get too close. So the angels especially are, of course, divine source energy is good for you, but it's intense and it can be overwhelming. And the reason for that is because in our human bodies, we are we're not, we're worthy, but we're at a lower vibration. And when I say that, that basically means that we're filled with all kinds of, stuff, anger and, sadness and guilt and shame. And so these feelings that kind of make it hard for us to connect, to tune into this radio station. So, divine source energy, basically the message from divine source energy when I connect is, you are loved, your purpose in life is to love, all is love, it's about love, and it's wonderful, just unbelievable feeling. It is the space between the thoughts, it is consciousness, and how do you even describe it, right? It's within us, it's all around us, it's connecting us right now. However, it can be difficult to get a handle on. It's like, well, how does that help me in, all the stuff I gotta do in my life? That's where the angels come in, because they can be messengers. So the way I was taught, you'll hear different things from different people, is that there are different hierarchies of angels, cherubim, seraphim, really close to the source. But then you go down a little bit, and then there's archangels and angels, or guardian angels. So archangels are, there's hundreds. You can read about them in biblical texts, and the Kabbalah, and the Quran. Archangel Michael helps with release fear and doubt and protection, helps with courage, the color blue, more like an indigo blue. Archangel Raphael, the healing angel, helps with, he's like the medical man, or more of a masculine energy in heaven, really. Green color, emerald green, about love. Archangel Gabriel can help with communication and really helps with, people doing creativity as well. So there's so many. There's also one that I really like that you probably haven't heard of, Archangel Chamuel. Anybody heard of this one? So I tell my kids about this all the time. Archangel Chamuel helps with finding stuff. So try it. I'm looking for my key, and not just like keys, but a partner, a job, finding your purpose. So this angel works with me because I was trying to find my new purpose for a long time. But all you gotta do is ask. So I can tell you some story. I'll tell you a quick story about angels. So my husband has an old motorcycle that he got, it's like, 1980 something, and he likes fixing it, but it breaks. And one time last year, it was about 3 months of not working at all. he usually was able to fix it pretty regularly. And so I kept telling him, Archangel Michael actually can also help fix stuff, mechanical things. And he was, he's open to it. Now he's much more open, but he was like, all right, that's interesting, but fine. And then I kept telling him, just ask. Like, what does it hurt to just ask for help from Archangel Michael? And so finally he was getting so frustrated, so he didn't tell me this until later, but he did. He just asked in his mind. And so that night he had a dream. And in his dream, he had a dream about what was wrong with his motorcycle. It was like some, I don't even know what it was, thermal something. And so then the next day, you can't make this stuff up. It's amazing. It's just so amazing. The next day, he went to the mechanic because we had some other issue with our other car, and he was talking about the motorcycle, and the mechanic's like, oh yeah, it's the thermal blah blah blah. Same thing. My uncle said it then the day later. So then he fixed it. It took about 2 days. That's how it can work. So they will send you guidance often through other people. I had a client who was trying to get pregnant for a couple of years, and she came to me, she said, can you help me get pregnant? I was like, I don't know. That's not really. But I was like, well, the only thing I can help you with is there's an angel for that. Archangel Gabriel can help with fertility and conception. So we said, all right, just talk to Archangel Gabriel. So here's the thing. When you ask, they don't necessarily just make it happen for you, but they'll shift energy around. So where's your block? So if it turns out that she was afraid that her husband, that the relationship would not work as well if they had a child. That was a block, and we uncovered that in our time together, and so she was actually not really sure if she wanted to have a child, so we talked about the block, she wrote about it. I do life coaching, that's part of what I do. So then, it took about, maybe about a month, and then this picture of Archangel Gabriel fell off the mantle that her grandmother had given her, and then she got pregnant, like about a month and a half, maybe, yeah, it took about a month and a half. And so that, another thing, I still can't even believe, I remember she emailed me, I was like, wait, what? What? I was just shocked. So it doesn't always work as simply as that, but try it. I love angels. It can change your life, absolutely change your life. So all right, angels, a spirit guide. So spirit guides, by the way, angels are light beings, have never lived as humans. So that's something a little different to keep in mind. And when we do the meditation, you may not actually see the angel because they're so full of love and light. They're just very bright. So that's okay. So they're healing. It can be emotional, but they're higher vibration than spirit guides because spirit guides were humans. So you maybe had a past life with them. You may recognize them, but they're potentially could be like a grandparent that's serving as a spirit guide for you. So their job is to kind of help that you can have dozens of spirit guides in your life. But usually you have one primary. I have when I do meditations, this one woman, long robes, kind of looks like somebody from Lord of the Rings, one of the elf people. And she's very beautiful, and I always see her. Yeah, but they can change. So, and they're with you all the time trying to help, give you, you're already hearing from them, that's the thing, you're already hearing from them in your mind. It's just recognizing that's what it is and trusting that. Ascended Masters. So, Ascended Masters, has anybody ever heard that term before? You have, okay. So, it's kind of a new agey term, I guess, but Ascended Masters are what we traditionally think of as spiritual, religious figures, like Jesus, Buddha, Confucius, Mother Mary, Yogananda, who brought the whole movement of yoga really to the U.S. Mother Teresa, supposedly the Ascended Master, Gandhi. So these are people who were humans, but basically transcended beyond their egos, and they are generally no longer incarnate in human bodies. So they're here to help us, guide us in expanding our consciousness with this whole shift in consciousness. I will say, when I do meditations in the Akashic Records, the figure that shows up, and I don't go to church anymore really at all, I don't consider myself religious, it's Jesus. I'm like, that looks like Jesus. And it's really interesting. Does anybody else have that? You do? That surprised me. Yeah. It's pretty amazing, and I've had that in some workshops. People are like, I feel like I just met Jesus. And it's interesting because there's so much loaded, I won't go talk about Jesus, don't worry, but there's so, even I say that, like there's so much that we have associated with that word, and it's really sad, I think, because we've been so programmed with different religions to think you're thinking something, and so anyway, I'm just going to plant that seed for you, because I was almost an atheist at one point, and I had this incredible experience with what was a figure of Jesus in sand, and I was blown away. I'll probably talk about it someday, but I can't because it gets me very emotional. So healing. Okay, so the other, I think, spirit animals, deceased loved ones. So when we do this meditation, when you open up to this dimension, which is a higher dimension, sometimes your deceased loved ones will be like, oh great, she's here, I want to say hi to her. So when we do this, be aware that sometimes they will show up. And that's really just they want to say hello to you. They can, your grandparents, if you have a deceased, anybody, if they can help you beyond this world. So I will say they're not the same as angels because they still have their egos. They're still, they've learned some of their lessons, but they're not, beings of pure love and light, if that makes sense. They still have their personalities. When I do Akashic Records reading, sometimes deceased loved ones of others will show up, and you can they'll show up the way that you knew them. So even if they were 100 when they died, but you really got to know them when they were in their 60s, they'll show up that way. So, all right, any questions so far? Yeah.
How do you spell Akashic?
Akashic, Akashic. And so the Akasha itself is the substance that basically makes up the universe. It's, when I go in the records, it feels like smoky light. That's the best way I can describe it. And it's intense. It took me, when I first started meditating again, that phrase, the Akashic Records, popped in. I was like, what the heck is that? And I wrote it down, but I wasn't ready to really go into it until, about a year later. Any other thoughts or questions about anything? No? Okay. Well, I have a couple more things before we do the meditation. We can see what time it is. Is there any 5? My gosh. All right, never mind. We're going to do the meditation. Do we have time for that? Kim?
Yes.
Okay. All right, so get comfortable. Wherever you are, sitting down, you can lie down if you sit on the side. So we're going to do this meditation, and everything that I've said to you, just see if you can just allow yourself to imagine your mind's like a blank slate, like a blank chalkboard, and your ego may pop up and say, oh, you're making it up, and you already know that, it's not working, blah, blah, blah. See if you can just come back to this light and just come back to this blank slate. So you are making it up. It's okay to make it up. What would this look like, okay? So just try to keep that in mind. Just having fun. Sometimes we take this so seriously. So, okay. So just taking a deep breath in your belly and expanding it up into your chest, into your shoulders, pausing, and just allowing it to sink. Taking another deep, full inhale, starting with your belly and expanding up into your heart, into your shoulders. And then just seeing how slowly you can let the air out. Just letting any tension go, letting your body relax. And take another full inhale at your own pace, inhaling light, inhaling positivity, and just exhaling out anything you wish to let go of in this moment. Just begin to bring your awareness to what your breath is doing in your body. Just noticing the rise and fall in your abdomen. Like waves in the ocean, your breath is always coming in and always going out. Without you doing anything special, your breath just breathes on its own. Maybe you notice the feeling of air as it enters your nostrils and travels down your throat, into your lungs, and back out again through your nostrils or mouth in this continuous loop. And just seeing if you can just gently rest your awareness on this breath, knowing that thoughts will come in, thoughts about, is it working? Am I doing it right? What's going to happen in the next few minutes? What's happened earlier? Maybe feeling wanting to get up and move, and just see for this moment, just for now, if you can just allow yourself just to be present. Just for now, just noticing. And imagining as you breathe that in your heart is a beautiful light. A light that's always glowing, like a pilot light. And just intend with your breath as you inhale to expand this light, making it grow stronger and stronger until this light in your heart is becoming a glowing sphere, pulsating. Most beautiful luminescent sphere of light in your heart. And the sphere of light moves, and then with every exhale you can imagine that it's moving through your body, becoming absorbed in your whole body, into your bloodstream. With every inhale, it's growing stronger and stronger, and now you can maybe imagine that it's beginning to flow in all directions, up and down, all around, up through the top of your head, down through the bottoms of your feet. Feeling this column of light flowing in both directions in your body. And now I'd like you to shift your awareness a little bit to imagining a special place that you may go to really unwind and relax. Maybe it's somewhere outdoors in nature. Maybe it's at the beach, or the mountains, or the forest, or somewhere else. Just imagining yourself in this place, planting yourself in this place where you feel so connected to yourself, so sacred there. You hear the sound of water flowing, beginning to hear the sounds of birds chirping, the breeze flowing through the trees and the leaves rustling. Noticing what's around this place. Is there water? Is there grass? Flowers? Noticing how it feels to be there, so in your body, just not a care in the world, completely and utterly relaxed and connected to your divine essence. Maybe even reaching out and touching some grass or a flower or the water. And imagining that the sun is shining on your face, the perfect temperature. And the sunlight just seems to seep into your body, just relaxing every part of your body, starting with the top of your head, flowing down, touching your ears and your forehead, your eyes. This light is like liquid relaxation that just flows down your jaw and your neck, and you feel yourself just letting go, allowing this light to be absorbed in your body. Still flowing down over your shoulders like a great weight has been lifted. You just let your shoulders completely drop and relax. And this light continues to flow down each arm, flowing down through your wrists and your hands and dripping off your fingertips. Maybe you even notice your palms feeling tingly or warm, and just enjoying this complete and utter feeling of peace and ease. And this light is still flowing down through your chest, opening up your heart and your lungs and your ribs, flowing down through your back, down into your abdomen, just feeling the light moving there, and really creating space in all these vital organs, just imagining even your organs relaxing. Noticing your breath is slowing down, you're breathing more deeply and more heavily, and just enjoying this feeling of peace. And this light is continuing down each leg, through your ankles, and all the way down to the bottoms of your feet, dripping off your soles of your feet. And just feeling yourself completely at peace. And in this space, begin to become aware that there are other people around you in this beautiful natural place, maybe the exact people sitting in this room right now. And we're all just sitting in a big circle. And as you sit in this place of relaxation, you become aware that there seems to be some kind of light that's actually connecting each of us from our hearts. Almost like a continuous beam of light, a circle of light. And as you feel this in your heart, you begin to feel an expansion, an opening. And you even begin to become aware of a humming sound, like a vibration of the beautiful, energetic sound building stronger and stronger. Feeling this flow of what feels like just pure love and healing. And you become aware that in the center of this circle where we're all sitting, there's seems to be some light in the center, and it's going up into the sky. And just noticing this light is just circulating, moving, and it seems like it's almost a column of light. Maybe you even notice colors of the rainbow. And down through this column of light, you become aware that there seems to be something descending. This bright, what seems like figures of light are coming down through this column of light in the center of our circle. And you become aware that these are actually guardian angels. And they're each meant for each of us here. And just allowing your imagination to see, what would this feel like if I were to see my guardian angel? What would it look like? And just seeing what floats in. So in this space, imagining this guardian angel, this being of light, maybe you can notice a figure approaching you in this circle, in this beautiful field in nature where we all are. Imagining this figure walking closer to you. And maybe you even detect some features of some kind, a body, and maybe it's just a color or a feeling, whatever you pick up on is perfectly fine. But just becoming aware that this figure, this being of light, has nothing but unconditional love for you, knows everything about you, knows all of your struggles, knows everything that's happened to you in your life, knows what you long for, what you desire. And this guardian angel knows that you are whole and perfect and completely loved in the eyes of God, of divine source energy. And just feeling this beautiful feeling of love and healing coming over you, knowing you can feel like a release. This beautiful angelic being approaches you and greets you in some way, maybe with a hug or some kind of other gesture, just allowing yourself to receive this, knowing that you are safe, that you are cared for, that you are loved. And just giving thanks for this being, for being here with you, for showing you who he or she is, because they are often genderless. But maybe you notice that something about them as you just look at this being. Do you notice they're carrying something? Or do you notice any clothing or a color? Maybe there's a word that pops in your mind that is associated with this angel, or maybe they have a message for you. And just seeing what pops in your mind. Beginning to know that you can ask questions of this angelic being, this figure. What is the purpose for what I'm experiencing right now? How can I learn from this experience? What steps might I take in my life? Just imagining any question you'd like to ask. Just ask that question now and see what comes in your mind. Maybe it's an image, maybe it's a feeling, maybe it's a word, maybe it's a color. Just trusting what comes in. And you notice that this guardian angel, your guardian angel, has a gift for you. And just receive that gift, and maybe there's a message or a word or a phrase that goes along with the gift that this divine being hands you. And just giving thanks. So you begin to become aware that you can connect with this angelic being anytime you choose. That this being is always there with you, and they want you to know that you can ask them for anything you need. And they are there. In fact, they're there all the time anyway. So maybe just creating an intention to remember this, to open to their guidance and to listen, to make the choice to listen and notice. And if your answer hasn't come in right now, just know that the answer may come in your dreams. It may come in the form of a word you see in your life or any other message in your waking life that may seem the most mundane, everyday situation, but know that it is a message from your guardian angel. So beginning to say goodbye to this angelic being of pure love, knowing you can come back to this place anytime you choose. Thanking this angel for being here with you. And this being begins to go back into the light, merge with the light, and ascend back up through this column. And in our space here in this field, we begin to just feel such gratitude for this connection, for this experience. Whatever it was for you, know that that's what you are meant to receive at this time. And you can always come back for more. This is just the beginning. So just taking a deep breath and beginning to bring your energies back into your body, back into this room, beginning to move your fingers and toes. Imagining that you're wrapped in a warm towel, this bubble of light around you, just hugging you, protecting you, sealing this energy in. Maybe even if you choose, you can bring your hands to your heart center again. In prayer position, just giving thanks. At this time, we give thanks to our highest and best and most divine guides, angels, sources of love for being with us in this space here today. We ask for your continual guidance and support in the coming days, weeks, and months to come. Help us to find the courage to move forward in our lives, to make choices that serve us, and to always come from a place of love for ourselves and others. For this we give much thanks and gratitude. So just beginning to bring your energies back into your body, maybe stretching out, taking your time here, and if you want to, when you open your eyes, if you want to write down what you experience, remembering that even those words, we've all talked about this, that those words are also blocking your intuition. So any of the thoughts, like, I can't do this, I'm not intuitive, it's not working, flip those thoughts around. I'm learning to open my intuition. I'm opening to seeing. One is a great mantra to say, because a lot of us have been witches in past lives. Guess what they used to do to witches? Very bad things. I personally I've done some past life regressions. I've seen about 7 or 8 different past lives of my own. One of them was pretty awful. I was buried alive. I think burned too. Anyway, but that was like literally in my bones. And when I'm protected and I'm working with sources of highest love, and angels are connected directly to the divine source energy, God. So I started talking to Archangel Michael. And I just asked, Archangel Michael, can you please help me release my fears?